We'll be live.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today, I'm your boy DKS. This is your buddy Dom, where we're talking about a variety of topics today. We hope you enjoy them as we will as well. But before we get into any of the topics, Dom, my man, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. I'm happy to be alive right now. Happy to be on the channel too.
There you go. That's right. We have a new addition, ladies and gentlemen. Dom is officially a part of the Dream King channel, to which we are now changing it to DK Dream King Society, DKS and Dom. So this is now Dom channel. I have now affiliated you, sir. I'm just pretending that these are your shoulders and your head.
Appreciate it, man.
And I'll do a little symbol thing on your forehead. Right?
Okay, I'll take it.
First topic today. This is a good topic, I believe. I feel like is a good history check, if you will. It's Black Wall Street, right? This is where, for those of you who do not know what Black Wall Street is, Black Wall Street was a kind of this upper, wealthy, very rich Black community that was substantially ahead of pretty much the majority of America in like the 20s or 30s. Like Black Wall Street, like it's in the name. Like Black people were literally millionaires, like Black businessmen, Black business women, owners. Like people had real wealth within the Black Wall Street area. But unfortunately, the Tulsa riots, if you will, this is where whites heard about Black Wall Street, and they decided to so they literally tore down the entire block of where Black Wall Street was. They tore it all down, destroyed all those businesses, and of course, Black people didn't get any kind of compensation for that, during that time. But it's unfortunate. But I guess my question is, bro, what would happen if Black Wall Street never died? Right? What would happen? What do you think would happen?
If Black Wall Street wouldn't have died, we'd have been in a totally different situation we be in right now.
Yeah.
Like instead of it just being, that the Fortune 500 is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really feel like if it wouldn't have died, we would have seen more people of our skin color in the Fortune 500 compared to just the one or two people that's in there now. Because at that point, when it was Black Wall Street, you had Black businesses, Black everything just booming. And like right now, you still have that, but it's mostly dominated through white people and white businesses. So when you have these white businesses, they own the Black companies, but at that time, it was the Black company owning the Black business. So I think if that wouldn't have died, we'd see like Black owned music labels, a lot more Black industry in general.
For sure. I'm a firm believer that half of the Black community or half the Black population will have inherited over 500K of wealth. At least 500K, bro. Like at least half of us would have done that. That's my firm belief of what would have happened, right? Hopefully in an alternate reality that happened, right? But
yeah,
you know what's crazy? Like even through all those setbacks, even through the pressure and the compressment we've all experienced, bro, the fact that we're still able to be on the Fortune 500. It may not be as substantial as our white counterparts, if you will, but it's I think the other day that the Black woman became one of the first CEOs on the Fortune 500, which is and of course we want to see more, but considering what we all been through, like that just shows how determined and how creative we are as people. If Black Wall Street never died, man, like talk about I'm sorry, that's to me that's the true meaning of happiness, like creating not happiness but creating wealth, generational wealth. That's like something you can pass on, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I think that's why it was torn down, was because at that time, Black people were still viewed as less than a person. So when people began to see, oh, they're having generational wealth or they're having their own revenue that we have nothing a part of, they felt that we were becoming too far to being equal. And even today, we're not seen as equal
Yeah.
to a lot of other people, especially these big name corporations. When they see these black companies coming up, they want to buy them out as quick as possible. So they throw them an offer that they can't refuse. So you'll see people like J. Cole, who has his label, but it's under Jay-Z. And Jay-Z has built his label, but before he was on his own label, he was bought out by a white person. And what happens is they settle, black people will settle for that. Oh, up front, you're willing to pay me $2 million? That's money I've never seen before. So you go from poor, broke, in a house where you can't even keep the lights on, where it's between you either take a warm shower, you have the lights on at night, versus I have $2 million in my pocket right now. This person's willing to pay me for my talents. And it's like, I'll take it. And then when you tear down our companies and our businesses, that takes away our generational wealth, which makes us turn around and be like, hey, well, I need that handout, or I need some help for somebody to pull me up. And that's when they're there. It's like a vulture mentality. Like, I see you when you're down, so I'm gonna take advantage of that. So
Man.
instead of it being it's not even a dog eat dog world anymore. It's a predator prey and scavenger world. So
Mm.
we're the prey, and big name companies are the predator. And when they take us out, those bigger name companies that own the big name companies will come down and be like, hey, you want a handout? I'll gladly buy you.
Wow.
So it's like when these companies have a vulture mentality, it's a it's still a way to keep us down and to keep us under.
Man, that was deep. Yeah, bro. Um, it gets me like thinking, like, despite all that we have been through, like you're absolutely right. Like this is a predator and prey world. I feel as though like black people we should learn how to invest our money. Like I feel like not a lot of us know how to like, okay, like you said, let's get the 2 million, but how about instead of spending this 2 million on liabilities and not assets, how about instead of spending all this that $2 million on just stuff that you don't, if you can't buy it twice, Jay-Z said this best. If you can't buy it twice, you cannot afford it. Right. So if or if you can go a couple days without it, you don't need it. Right. How about instead of once you get the 2 million, how about let's make another 2 million on top of this 2 million? 2 million. By using this 2 million, let's make another 2 million. And then guess what you do after that? You got 4 million. Guess what you do after 4 million? Let's make another 4 million, right? So it's you keep adding on. I feel that's like the true like definition of growth as a whatever it is. Like if you're a rapper, if you're a business person, if you're a baker or a person who cuts hair, person who cuts grass, whatever, right? Invest your money and build on top of that. Don't just invest in some stocks. Stop trying to like buy stupid stuff that doesn't amount to anything that depreciates in value. Don't do that. Like buy
Yeah.
that actually will help you in the long term, not just quick, fast money now.
Yeah. And the thing about it, when they give you that 2 million and you go spend it, what a lot of people don't realize is that that 2 million, if you read the small print, it's a loan.
Mm,
They're loaning you the 2 million and they're expecting it back.
yeah.
So like when people sign these music deals, they'll give you your $300,000 in advance, but then you have to pay them for your studio time. You have to pay them to promote it. You have to pay them for everything, and then you also have to pay them a portion of your sales. So like they might have given you $300,000, but you're paying $310,000 off of the 500,000 that you made. So in all reality, if you didn't invest that at that time, you, in all reality you didn't make anything. In fact, you lost money. You're back where you are. You're just sitting in a state of I'm 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 fine where I'm at. Like you can't. That's what's wrong with society now, is that we're in this state of I'm cool where I am. I don't want to push for anything more.
Bro, somebody told me this the other day. They said we should do a topic on art, and I wasn't sure like what that really meant. Like I was just like, what does that mean? She was like, well, art has this form of expression. Like you can express yourself. So So I was thinking, I got to thinking, I was like, maybe I was like, okay, that's a decent point. Like there are times where if I see art, like I have a different interpretation. You know, like the art that I like when people do art based off people. So like based off, but they do like crossovers and references. Like so, like they'll have an art like maybe it's like a simple example. Maybe it's like in Marvel or DC. So they have like Iron Man or Batman, right? Or for black characters you have Black Panther and maybe Cyborg, right? Or Miles Morales, or maybe the Black Green Lantern. Like I like that kind of art. So what would you say about like art? What do you think art means when it's trying to express itself?
Well, I mean, when you talk about art, it goes back to that phrase that beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Mm,
So like some people can look at a blank wall and be like, that's art, it's really speaking to me. So when it comes down to art, it's like you have to find something that not only you like, but speaks to you, for lack of
yeah,
a better word. So like for me, I can easily go look at art of like skylines, city skylines and outlines, or maybe even like street art, but not like just graffiti or anything like that, but like the colorful street arts on the side of a wall, like of a mural of Kobe
yeah,
Bryant or things like that. Cause I know like if I go online, I search like Baltimore street art, I'll be like, all right, cool, let me see what I can find. And
yeah,
there's a mural of love, and it's just love in sign language. And that speaks to me because especially how Baltimore is, how corrupt that city is,
yeah,
and its officials and its police officers, that it's like for me to see that people took the time out of their day to put that up
crazy.
there to try to bring people together, it's like
Yeah,
it's empowering.
magnitude. Yeah, it definitely shows power for sure. Magnitude of that. I think I think you're right. Like graffiti to me is not depending. Graffiti can be art depending on how it's used. Like anything that's intended to be good can be easily turned into bad. Like as simple as art. Like art is supposed to be good. It's supposed to speak to you. Like you said, it could be a white wall, a blank white wall, or it can be a blank black wall or a blank purple wall. It means something to different people. So
Yeah, because there'll be times that in a movie I've watched, there was just a black wall, a white wall with a banana duct tape to it, and the guy was like, "That's art," and I was like, I sat down, I was like, I don't understand how this could be art, but then I've gone and I've looked at research, and there'll be like a white canvas with a purple dot on it, and it's like this artwork sold for $2,000, and it's like this really sold for $2,000, and I could have done this, and it just gets you thinking like, what
I could have done this.
like a psychological thing, like what
Yeah.
makes people draw to the certain things that they want, and it's like it's beyond science. It's like a I don't know how to explain it. It's really
It's like
it's
a
interesting.
aha.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Aha.
It's like once you figure it out, it's like this is what they like. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try this, but it's like not everyone can do it.
Mm.
That's what makes it so unique is that not everybody can draw a circle and somebody be like, that's art. Like not everybody can go through and do everything the same way as somebody else. So you have to find your own way of doing it and find your own audience.
The topic, this topic, bro. Being happy before you get in a relationship. Is it important? Is it not as important? I think we all know the answer to this question. But I'll say this. Before you get in a relationship, please know thyself. In the words of J. Cole, know thyself. Okay? You gotta know who you really are. Now, will you ever know 100% of you? No. You will never, you will always find new things about you every moment of your life. That is a true statement. But don't just jump in a relationship all willy nilly, in the words of Cedric the Entertainer, right? Don't just jump in a relationship just because, that's the trend or everybody's doing it or you seeing these people or you're tired of being single, right? Don't do that. You only go into a relationship. See, there's a difference between choosing to go into a relationship and jumping into a relationship. Jumping into a relationship means you're so anxious to get in a relationship that you have no in a I hate to say it like this, but you have no standards. Like you have no standards, and you're willing to just for the sake of saying I'm in a relationship. That's jumping to a relationship. Going into a relationship means I have taken the time out to work on me and scope me and fix myself up to where I think I'm ready to share this happiness with someone else. That's the whole point of a relationship. You're just sharing happiness. You're sharing your happiness with the other person who also should be happy as well before they get a relationship. That way you two combine your happiness together and it's like 100 times better. What do you think, bro?
So you have to love yourself before you can love somebody else. Because until you can love somebody else, and if you don't know how to love yourself, then how do you expect yourself to love somebody else? Because,
I'm gonna do the childish Gambino.
but like when people rush into a relationship, what happens is they're looking for some form of validation
Mm,
from an insecurity that they have.
mm,
So what people don't realize is that before you jump into a relationship, you either have to conquer your insecurities or come to terms with your insecurities.
mm.
So a lot of people are insecure about like their body shape or their weight. And it's like you want to jump into a relationship with somebody, but you don't love yourself. And then it becomes you get through your honeymoon phase and then you realize that deep down it's a toxic relationship. You don't want to get into these relationships where you feel beat down and it's just dragging along. You want each day to feel like, okay, I'm bringing something new. So, yeah, you're going to go through issues in a relationship. But before you can get into that, you have to solve the issues inside of yourself first.
Yeah, you have to. Like you have. There is no. Well, I'll be all right. It's only for some. No, everybody. If anybody, any and everybody who wants to be in a relationship, do what this man just said. Fix yourself. Love yourself first. Because all you're gonna do is like he said, you're just gonna jump into a toxic relationship. You don't need that, right? The world, you already got a million things to do each and every day. You don't need that. So
Yeah.
work on yourself, know thyself, and just be happy. Okay, just be happy with who you are. All your insecurities, be happy with.
Yeah. And the way you do that is, for one, don't be lazy. Like,
Mm,
you don't like certain things about yourself. Well, is there anything you can do to fix it? So like there are plenty of people going back to weight and things like, oh, I don't like being at this weight. Okay, step one is to identify the problem. You've done that, but then step two is to actively think of a plan. If you fail to do step two, then you're going to fail to do steps three and four. So if you have to go beyond just complaining about it. So if you work without if you don't do anything without it, without identifying the problem and working on it, you'll never find a result. And if you just keep saying, "Oh, I don't like my way," or "Oh, I don't like this," and "I don't like that," but you don't do anything about it, then it's like stop complaining. I hate to say it like that, but that's it's the only way to say it. Because if you just want to continue to complain and complain and complain, people only have a tolerance for hearing the same things to a certain point until we finally tell you, hey, just fix it or just do something about it. So before you hop into a relationship, make sure you find out yourself first. And yeah, you're not going to find out everything about yourself. Sometimes it takes a person, another person to draw things out of you. And then when you find out new things about yourself, you have to come to terms with those or work on those. And sometimes another person is needed to help you go through those. But until you begin to fully love yourself, you'll never fully love another person.
he said it well. I could have said any better. He said it well. What? TikTok. I said a year and a half ago. I said I'm never getting to TikTok. It's stupid. It's the worst app I've ever invented. I said this. Those words came out my mouth a year and a half ago. A year and a half later, TikTok is destroying. I wouldn't say destroying, but it really is. It's dominating the social media market. It's
It's the new Vine, bro.
bro, like I didn't think it would be this big. That's my like uh, bonanza moment, if you will. Like I didn't expect it to be this big. And who would have thought doing no offense, but doing stupid dances that everybody ends up doing, right? The little
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I didn't like that, but I still don't. But at the same time, TikTok is a place where you can still get like laughter. You can still, it's kind of an escape room. Like you kind of just kind of get away. But at the same time, it can definitely be toxic as well.
Yeah. So I think that it exploded because we were looking for another form of social media, another way to get a laugh. Because when you go to Instagram, it's a whole bunch of, oh, I see how this person is living. I want to live like that. Or when you go to Snapchat, it's usually a whole bunch of rants or things that you really don't want to see from other people. And then when you go to TikTok, it's a totally different thing. It's a place to get a laugh or
Yeah,
a place to get, it's not even, yeah, it's usually just a laugh. And that's usually, especially now, all we want to do through these times is laugh because when we're not laughing and we're focused on the outside, it's like you really don't get any laughter or any joy from it because once you get to the real world, it's a whole bunch of seriousness. But then you load up TikTok and it's like, that was funny. And that's what happens is that you get so immersed in laughing that you just keep scrolling. And then you see your friends doing something funny, and then you see somebody else doing something funny, or you see hear a sound that's like that. I can see myself doing that, and that's what it is, man. Is that people see it's so inclusive and immersive that everybody can get into it.
do you think it will be bigger?
Um, I don't see it getting much bigger than it is already,
Hmm.
mostly because the video it's another Vine basically. So Vine went on and then it died off. I don't think TikTok will die off as quickly as Vine did, but I think eventually it'll begin to fall off because it's funny, but soon you're gonna run out of content, and everything's just gonna seem to be repeating itself. And that's what happened with Vine is that for the while that it was there, it was going strong. It's like everybody had something new, but then it started to die down once you saw people begin to start repeating what other people were doing.
Yeah,
And you're seeing it on TikTok now, but the difference is compared to Vine is that I can change my face up in a different way, or I can excuse me, do something just slightly different from somebody else. So it might take another no, I'm not gonna say 4 or 5 years for TikTok to die, but eventually, unless they change, unless TikTok changes how it does its algorithms and everything, and the
yeah,
content that's put up there, it's gonna do a Vine and it's gonna die out.
as expected. Nothing lasts forever, so you know, everybody has his run. Everybody has his race.
Yeah. I mean, every dog has his day. Some dogs run longer than others because who would have thought that Facebook would still be going? But I mean, MySpace died out, so Facebook's probably next. And then but Twitter is never going to die. That's one thing that'll probably never die. It's probably going to be Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat will probably be the three that don't die. But
I don't know.
TikTok probably gonna die.
Twitter, bro. I don't know about Twitter. Twitter's on a high peak now, but like I said, bro, nothing lasts forever. I don't care how
Yeah,
good it gets, bro. That's
it's
crazy.
gonna take it's gonna take a good little minute for Twitter to die though,
Yeah,
because it's a lot easier to get in contact or to contact famous people or semi-famous people on Twitter than it is to try to find them to get their attention on like their YouTube channels or to get in contact with their agents or anything like that. But you can go on Twitter and be like, "Hey, Drake, why don't you do a song with this person?" And then there's a higher possibility that he'll see that because those famous people are just scrolling through Twitter anyway or Instagram. But good luck finding somebody on Instagram because 62 million people follow this person. I'm not trying to comment on your post, sir.
you don't care.
Send you a. You're never gonna read it. I'm at the bottom of the list.
All right, everybody. That is going to conclude this video. we both appreciate you guys for watching, listening, and tuning in. Thank you. Please like and comment down below. Put some pressure on that notifications bell. And as always, subscribe to the DKS and Dob YouTube channel for future videos.
Sure.
Revolution will be live.